All right, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the ESL Go4 EU Cup number 14. I'm joined once again by Scribe. Scribe, how are you doing today?
Not too bad, man. Just glad I can make it.
I definitely understand that. This is definitely an early morning cast, but nonetheless, we are both here somehow, and we're gonna give some insight hopefully into this game. And yeah, let me get this link for them. But see what's going on in the scene. These two teams, Instinct or Team Instinct versus Random Six. The winner of this will go on in the round of 32 to play Reason Gaming, which honestly is a pretty hot topic. Not only for the fact that they beat FaZe, but of course there was some drama that went ahead and erupted on the Twitter right afterwards because the way Reason beat them was by using the triple tank, triple support composition, which some pro players, for depends on your perspective, but really dislike that strategy because it is a very in essence, it's a very cheesy composition, but definitely a lot of hate against it.
Yeah, honestly, oddly enough, I don't know if I'm technically allowed to say this, but in Copenhagen Flames scrims, they actually went against this exact composition, the triple tank, kind of like almost double support, single DPS. So not entirely that, but they're running Hanzo for some reason. But it is something that's very hard to plan against because even if you know it's coming, your result or I guess your win condition is essentially, hey, let's either kill the one DPS dealer or let's find a way to kill their supports. But either way, as long as they keep on engaging and staying full health and someone gets a nano boost or someone gets an ultimate off, all of a sudden you get pushed back and it's not very fun to protect points from it. So it's definitely, I think honestly it's a viable strategy. I think the teams just have to get used to playing against it. And, I mean, if it works, no use knocking it.
No, I completely agree. I mean, I'll always take the opinion on this matter of, at the end of the day, even if you hate a strategy, you should at least play it a little bit, and you should at least understand how to play against it and never let it become a thing where it's, the strategy, we hate it, but, it becomes a problem to play against. We'll go ahead and get into the introductions, though, so we can get more into that kind of discussion, as we have Ilka going to be picking up the Mercy, Kubi going to be picking up a Mei, hopefully see if he stays on that, but it looks like he's going over to a Reaper. We have Poiro going to be picking up a Zarya, and Gramiro Boy is going to be picking up the Zenyatta. We have Decadness going to be picking up the Reinhardt, and Dark Azar is going to be picking up the McCree.
And on the other side, we have Nixie on Winston, Sensi on Hanzo, Kali on Zarya, Sissy Chu, Zenyatta, ZP, oh man, Zipai on Lucio, and Yeri Z on Tracer.
Oh, the new spectator clients. I haven't really got to cast too much in it, but now when I am on a character, it'll show in the top right or in the top of the screen a little arrow on the character I am. So it's a little bit easier for the viewers to see which hero I am fixated on. But guys, we will also not need a stopwatch for this. It is going to be time bank for the ESL rule set. So those of you that are watching that are playing today, of course, do keep that in mind, as it is going to be a little bit different. That means the matches can go longer, though. So, maybe we'll get into that discussion here a bit, as they're going to be trying to spam down and get set up here the offense. Actually, no, they're going to be going for a hard engage. Winston plus the Zarya, they're going to go ahead and bubble him up, initiate hard, and try to get some kills. And already they're lighting it up. Sensei's going to get himself a double kill as he takes out both the Zenyatta and the Reaper and continue to push forward. He's going to clean up the Reinhardt, and they push them into the choke point. Not a single member lost from the offense as they push through. And kind of what I wanted to say, Scribe, is if you get going through the map quickly, time bank favors you big time because you get that second push with all that extra time on the bank.
No, yeah, of course, and that's kind of the big meta change for time bank is it's going to actually emphasize using some of these quick engage compositions on the first point rather than slow pushing. And as we saw right there, I mean, Winston and Tracer going into the back line did a lot of damage and opened up a lot of room for the McCree Sensi on the other side to basically take a lot of pot shots from Hotel. I mean, the fact that no one was really coordinated, no one really needed to put up their shields, and they were just separated in the day is not exactly a good look for the defense.
No, it's really not. Now they need to get set up here, and they have had the time to do so. They will go ahead and choose to hold at Bookstore, but dashing straight through is the Tracer. Going to go ahead and throw down that pulse bomb. Doesn't get too much done with it, but we're on the McCree again. Once again, Sensei, as he's been going off at the beginning of that, and honestly, I gotta say he's still feeling it as he lands a decent headshot, taking out the Reinhardt. Now he's going to be looking over onto the Mercy, channeling the Deadeye during the charge and the res. He's going to go ahead and take out the charging bull that is Reinhardt. Now the Deadeye coming out from the defense. It is going to go ahead and claim the life of Sensei, but that's about it, as Darkstar is trying to stabilize it out for his team. There is the Transcendence helping out. A pulse bomb's going to get thrown out, and it looks like that is going to turn into a kill as Yarius gets the kill and backs out after the rewind, and is going to continue to push forward with Kali at his backside, helping clean up as well with the Zenyatta orbs flying through. And this is just looking like very clean offense, but I just also want to say that I don't feel like the defense has been getting getting their kills or setting up. Like, they've set up, but the initiations maybe aren't clean.
Yeah, I mean, QB was trying to go for a big flank, but when they engaged on, I think he looked at the backline and was like, I don't think there's any high priority options here that I can really necessarily take out, because you're just sitting back with 2 supports, and that's not going to change the big difference in the fight if, the other team's McCree is basically annihilating your entire team. So he backed off about that and just kind of pushed, but unfortunately, that was kind of their main goal. And now that huge Graviton Surge comes out, maybe I'll be able to do something Earth Shatter again into the Graviton Surge.
That was almost perfect. It'll end up being good enough as they'll get the final 2 kills from Grandma Boy, as he's going to get 2. Darkstar's going to go ahead and clean up another 2, and they might just play the janitor and get them all, but Zenyatta might end up getting away. Shouldn't be too much of a big deal. They will go ahead and win that fight and bite out. And if we look at the ultimate situation, they did a good job by not over-committing. They didn't use their reactive ults. They have both of the support ults to go ahead and commit here, especially because they're playing 2 reactive support ults. And this will go ahead and allow them to continue to stall it up, but the offense has the tools to get this payload converted.
Cali going down very early is not very good. Graviton Surge down. I mean, obviously they have 5 other ultimates, but they only have 1 that groups them together and 1 very good to set up for the rest of their team. So I think they're going to just wait for that to come up and try to aim at the cart and catch 3 or 4 people out of position.
How do you feel about this Winston pick? I mean, obviously earlier on it made a lot more sense. We'll go ahead and table that for a second, but it's interesting that they're still sticking on it. With the Deadeye available, they're not going to get anything out of it. Transcendence is going through, keeping them alive, but Yeris is going to get himself a double kill. Going to continue to push forward. This Tracer has been doing work for his team. We're switching over to him as he continues to back. He has actually found the Zenyatta, the squishy insides of this composition. It's not going to matter. He's going to go ahead and just ignore that kill and says, fine, I'm going to take out your Zarya. That's good enough for me. No more charge for you. No more barrier as your Reinhardt goes down. And now they continue to push forward. Kubi really does want to get something done here. He needs to, though. As they push the payload so close, that pressure's mounting here for the defense. So 4 minutes left on the time bank is going to give more than enough time for the side of Instinct, or side of Random 6 to continue to push into the next time bank section. Resurrection will go ahead and bring up QB, as it looks like they have stabilized 4 now. And every second here is going to matter big time. But yeah, I guess they are going to go ahead and switch to the Reinhardt now, so they agree. But yeah, it was interesting they kept Winston so long when they didn't have a combo engaged to go with it.
Yeah, I think honestly it's just because they were winning all the fights that they were picking, so it made sense to just have that engaged tank on there to get into their back lines and then chunk with that. But for the moment they burn all the ultimates, I think they're going back to a more conservative approach and trying to push it, at least slow push it or get there more consistently.
Agreed there. So we'll see what they can do here. They do need to build up some ultimates after using that much. The defense is going to have ultimate advantage. Offense is going to need to bait those out, so we'll see what they do to get that done. We already see actually QB in a pretty... Oh, this is going to be devastating. The Graviton Surge goes off. There was that flashbang, but I'll tell you what, that didn't make a single bit of difference, as he was still able to cleave through them with the left clicks. His team, having the threat that he was, allowed them to freely put damage into that Graviton Surge, and that's another cleaned up push. And before, we were looking at potentially a 4-minute cap, now down to 2 minutes and 50 seconds in the offense. Well, they need to now figure out getting this payload converted, but they are building up ult charge and ult advantage, I guess.
And this is kind of all, honestly, this last push is all going to be about how much you've adapted back into the old Mercy meta, where you wouldn't burn ultimate, so Mercy had to burn theirs. But right now, they could potentially counter-engage with the Mercy ultimate, stay alive, and return the fight. So that's actually something the offense has to be worried about.
Well, Sensei's going to go ahead and get the Deadeye, and he takes out Ilka. So everything that you just said, unfortunately, not true, but that's a bit of a mistake there by the Mercy. Having that Resurrection up, I completely agree with you. That shouldn't be getting picked off there, but the defense now going to try to scramble. Earthshatter goes out as they continue to fight it out. Vaporio, he's surrounded. There's just too many members as they continue to push forward. You guys saw that as everyone was surrounding the defensive members, but a Resurrection comes through. It just couldn't have been a better time, to be fair, in that respect, but at the same time, it was a little bit delayed because he ended up going down. They get the res, they try, can they get the setup as, oh, Yeri's on the soldier, just lights it up, gets a double kill before the tax, and then activates the technical sight, gets himself another 2, and they're going to go ahead and clean this up and finish the push with 1:53 remaining on the clock. You know, that was just that last part just felt very awkward. I mean, again, the res was solid in the abstract sense. It was a 4-man res on the cart, but I just feel like you really do have to play around res a lot better in that situation. I completely agree with you, and I really want to echo what you're saying. In a Mercy meta, especially when you're playing against a Mercy, it doesn't matter if you're with one. Obviously, you should be playing way more around it, which is why I'm a little bit more on this, because I feel like the Mercy should have been live. The team should have been coordinating that and setting that up. Let's play around res, let's sack the team, let's res it, and then let's reinitiate off the back of that. But the other team, like you said, it becomes a thing where it doesn't matter whether or not you run it, you still have to pay mention to it. And I think the offense did a little bit better job of playing around it, especially especially with the tac sites being held onto, I think, there for an additional 10-20 seconds.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of like the smartest thing you can do because that's the problem offenses will oftentimes run into against defensive mercy compositions is that they'll burn like not seven rolls, well, they'll burn like 4 to 5 ultimates just to be like, well, you know, we want to clean up this fight last moment. And if that mercy is still alive and you can't find her for the last few seconds, she gets a res. All of a sudden, everyone who died comes back. And if they have ultimates, they can definitely change the fight a lot more. So it's about, you know, playing around that. And that because mercy hasn't been seeing the meta as often, people might be just used to, hey, Lucio ult and like, you know, Zenyatta ult and just maybe just be used to kiting out the battle or just, hey, burning ults and like saving 1 or 2, whereas with Mercy ult you definitely have to be more cognizant about the opponent's ultimate meters and the fact that they probably still have those up.
That's definitely true. And also, I mean, the nice thing about this meta is, from what I've seen so far, I really feel this perception from officials especially that it really is a meta of you can do what you want. And that is really cool. So maybe we'll get to see some more Ana today, more consistent play of Ana. Of course, we do know Reason Gaming, like we were saying earlier, they do like to run that 3-3 comp, but we'll see if we get to see any Ana strats specifically. The offense here, for the side of Instinct, needs to get their work done quickly. They do have to think about the second push. They can't just play for the first map, and that's a little bit stressful here in that respect, is if they don't complete on the first round, well, it's over to begin with, but if they don't complete with a lot of time, they will be down big time going into the second section of King's Row, or to the second time bank iteration of the map. As we look for the offense to push in here, they're all set up at the back hotel, grouped up behind Ryan Barrier. They're playing it well, but the Ryan Barrier is down, so now they need to charge in. And oh no, Reinhardt goes down to the Discord Orb plus the Zenyatta, and Yeri's with this Reaper lights up on the kill feed, gets 2 kills. But I can tell you by the ultimate charge that Sensei was getting himself plenty of big damage in there, headshots as well as the flashbang. A little bit of an awkward push there, Scribe. I feel like they didn't really identify what they wanted to do. They got through, but they just kind of set up.
Yeah, I mean, look at their composition. Their composition is not exactly, you know, suited for a very fast. It's honestly, it's kind of a mixed message, right? You're running Genji, which just build up a lot of time, and you want to slow push, but I think they just pushed in too quickly, and honestly.
I agree. If they're going to be running kind of the pieces that they are, they need to be thinking about it differently. And now there's a little bit of wraparound, but Sensei gets the Deadeye. And Reinhardt Barrier is great until there's a bunch of you behind it with Deadeye. They're all going to get cleaned up. Darkstar in the background is going to get flashbanged up and immediately taken apart. And that is going to be that offense. And that was a full team wipe. And I have to also mention that they only used 2 ultimates. I don't know if they needed to choose Transcendence, but the Deadeye definitely did more than enough work. And they ended up holding with 4 ults remaining now.
Oh man, look at the Reaper. Look at Yeri Z in the background right now. He's just waiting for them to push it. You might not even have to. They might just get individually picked off.
And then that's just going to buy more seconds of time here for the defense.
Yeah, and I agree. And honestly, they needed to make that change a lot quicker. RaptorZ now has ultimate, but Graviton Surge into Death Blossom is just not the best look in the world. Man, that's going to be frustrating for RaptorZ. He has ultimate up. That's basically your win condition, and he hasn't been able to use it. And now it's time ticking down. You have 153 back left on the clock. Like, you make this in the last push.
It's not gonna be very easy at all. They're gonna have maybe 2 more pushes here. One where they need to try to use a few of their ultimates, if not use all of them, to try to take it and exhaust the defense here. But yeah, they're gonna be down to a few quality pushes here left. But Yeri's already in his great position. He's gonna just immediately hunt out the Deadeye. But Kuubi gets out Sensei. After Sensei gets a double kill, with the Earth Shatter comes out from the defense, and we saw it on Yeri's screen. It just absolutely knocked everyone down. There wasn't a single member on the offense really ready to fight, except for the Zarya, who is all alone against 3 heroes. And now all of the ultimates are pretty much gone. There is quite a bit of charge over on Sisichu and Yeri's, but they're a little bit more limited now.
Yeah, and on the offense side, they have a great opportunity with Porio having the ultimate, Ground Boys having the ultimate. Maybe they're about to put some more damage on, but right now, I'm still not super confident in the build. That Graviton Surge completely lives, tags no one. So that's the one ultimate already down the drain. Sisichu comes in with the ultimate just to mitigate some initial damage, but man, I just feel they're struggling right now. They're just trying to panicking, trying to get wherever they can.
They kind of are, but we'll see if they can figure it out as the Ursula comes out from the defense, and now the Death Blossom comes out from Yeri's, gets himself a triple kill, and the Graviton Surge for the defense. Well, it's just as honestly big of a whiff, because honestly they had won that fight, not needing the ultimate to kill 1 hero. But they will go ahead and commit it. Defense completely out of ultimates, offense low on charge, 30 seconds remains on the clock, and right now Team Instinct is on the back foot. What do they need to do, if anything, Scribe? I mean, they need to play aggressive, but
I mean, it's kind of tough when you keep on running this Genji. Darkstar needs to not die here and need to commit to, like, a high priority Dragon Blade and not get immediately flashbanged out.
Well,
which he's doing. I mean, taking down Sissy which is already a huge start.
Yeah, and he's gonna get the double slash in the background. He's gonna get himself a triple kill, make it a quad. Yes, it is a 4K, and he's gonna continue to push forward a little bit, gonna help take out the Reinhardt, and you know what? Pretty much called that as clean as it could have been. It was the truth that he had the Dragon Blade. He was the one responsible for it, but you put the responsibility on the right shoulders there, Scribes. It looks like Darkstar did get his team pulled together there a little bit with that Dragon Blade. But the question becomes, off of that, do you think that they're gonna have the momentum or the depth of play to be able to push this through the streets? Because they're lacking time, and it took them a lot to get that point, to be frank.
I mean, it does, but luckily for them, they do have 3 high-priority ultimates up, and the defense is going to have a period of maybe 10 seconds where they don't have any. If they can capitalize and get a great Earth Shatter that capitalizes on this entire matter, I think they can turn the fight.
Oh, this Deadeye's got a lot of skulls. He's going to pull the trigger. He does end up going down. The charge ends up pinning him. That's so weird, but the Dragon Blade is out. Transcendence is there to counter it. There's going to be actually a kill onto Yeris. I believe that was the Deadeye from the offensive. Oh, Darkstar, the dash through. I don't even know what I was going to talk about, because to be frank, watching a Genji dash back and forth through a Graviton Surge like that, I was going to say earlier, one of the most satisfying feelings in Overwatch is to watch somebody or to be a Reaper and just kill everyone with Death Blossom. Dashing through large packs of people as Genji is up there as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree here, and that's exactly kind of what they needed was ultimates to kind of set up for a Dragon or something like that. But that Death Blossom is going through and cleans up the entire team, and that's not something you want right before the checkpoint.
You step once, Darkstar, you make a play, that's fine. You guys can take that point, but I'm Yeris, and I'm going to step back and see if you can go ahead and figure it out after you lose momentum. And honestly, that was a situation where both players now, in that respective role, it seems to be the playmakers. We have had that Genji go ahead and step up and take the point, Darkstar. Now, Yeris is completely shutting down the momentum, and the offense has limited resources to work with, and the defense has the better percent charge overall. The tables have flipped a little bit here, Scribe.
Yeah, and I agree, but what they really need to do is capitalize on this Earthshot right now. Taking out Nixie is a great first step in the backline right now. Yeris is trying to take out the big threats. Only takes down QB, which is not enough. They need to do more in the case still. Burned his ultimate. Darkstar now has Dragon Blade. That's going to be another turning fight.
This is a big change of events here, a big change of, honestly, momentum, not only in the sense that they are doing a good job of winning these fights, but they are doing it in a position where they don't have the means to do so. I mean, what's going well for them, Scribe, there? Because it just felt like the defense should have had a decent engage there.
I mean, yes and no. So basically, when Decadence goes and takes out Nixie very early on, all of a sudden you're missing one of your big tank threats. And Zarya is only so good enough to provide some consistent shielding, but not too much. But also Darkstar's ultimate still being up. I think that's a huge thing to look at.
Pretty decent Earthshatter. Looks like they miss on a few of them, but Zary's is going to get himself a kill. Deadeye coming out from the offense as they continue to push forward. A Dragon Blade from Darkstar, but he does go down. Maybe it's for the better here, as they are going to end up losing this fight off the back of it. As I don't know if they would have been able to win the fight with immediately losing. I'm not sure who they lost right off the bat, but they also lost somebody in addition to Darkstar. Now they're going to go ahead and have to back up here. Down ultimate here is kind of bleeding. Offense push them up, but they do, or defense push them up, but they do need to be careful about overcommitting here. 50 seconds remains, and that might have been exactly what I was pointing out right there. They pushed up too far, they lose 2 picks, and now the momentum is in the favor of the offense here. And they have the ultimates. This is why you have to be so careful. Oh, he finds the Reaper, which is one of the big trump cards that the defense had here.
Yeah, but taking out Sissy Port taking out Sissy is really not good. Darkstar takes on his IP, so right now to basically fight without any support. He goes to the back on, takes on Sensi, and then of course Graviton Surge is going to get mitigated by double Transcendence, and that's just, that might not be enough. They can take down Cali early enough. Maybe they can not wait for the stall. Great Earth Shatter to hold it out, and then that was a solid last push, but that looked so bad at the beginning for it.
Agreed, and I mean, look at the time, right? Like, it took them the entire time to take the clock. If you were going to go back and analyze the spots, you have to say our point A take was not clean at all. It took us way too long. It was awkward. It was slow. There were some other minor mistakes, of course, but as a team as a whole, those were kind of the big overarching factors that I saw. And I mean, now they're going to be really short on time to go ahead and take this, and they're going to play defense first. So they do get the opportunity to try to stall it out, but I mean, does this influence? I mean, you know, you're allowed to sit by in the booth. You're allowed to talk to the players. Scribe, is there anything you think specifically strategy-wise, if they were playing everything and anything, that you think would work better in these these shorter time situations, or is it just stock standard compositions right now?
I mean, if you haven't played anything cheesy or anything crazy, obviously I would say stop. pretty easy. But if you're, for example, if you're on Flare Gaming and then Peak is like, man, I haven't played Mei all game, and I think that's something that's completely game changing. I think you need to pull that out. The main problem with lower time is that you have less room for error on both sides, right? So the prerogative is on the offense to have a successful execute. So you probably want to start picking heroes that don't require the ultimate build up that's going to take, you know, like 40 seconds, right? Because you leave yourself very little room to convert on that. And I think that, you know, the Genji might not be the best choice on this one, but we have seen darkzar perform. We have him, see him carry games. And honestly, if he gets up to 70% by 30 seconds, it's entirely possible for him to win this specific point and then carry that through the rest of the map.
Well, the defense is very much to your logic. The only long ultimates there are going to be the support ultimates, the Graviton Surge, and the Initiation's already out. darkzar, they're not going to waste any time this time, and I think that's a good idea. It doesn't end up going that well, though. The charge does get in pretty deep, but they end up losing darkzar off the bat. Now they're going to also lose their other DPS. Hilka is on the point trying to fight it out, but Lucio, sorry, you're not going to be able to win that 1v6, and they do lose the first push. So at the very least, they are learning that already in the game without having to study the film, and that they're playing too slow, but the execute just wasn't clean enough, unfortunately. Oh no. That's not good. That's a heartbreaker. The offense can't afford to push in here. They do have the opportunity to regroup one more time, but they are going to just go for it. And Yaris gets the pulse bomb and takes out 2, and this is starting to get those awkward feelings of the course as the offense is just falling apart. It's hard to watch as they did have the opportunity to back up, but they would have been going in about 4 seconds ago, 5 seconds ago with everyone. Maybe it would have gone better, but as it is, ooh.
That's
2.5 minutes.
They have so much time to do it, and I mean, this is the part that's kind of frustrating, right? Because the reason why people tend to run Genji is because you have another engaged character behind there. Typically, you're either taking pot shots or something else, but the thing is, you need to realize you need to stay alive. The fact that, you know, darkzar died 2 times in that 1 minute period, and the first time it was fine. You know, he had built 38% of his ultimate, so that's okay. I think honestly that's something you take away. And you're like, okay, we take those. You know, we go back, let's reset, let's get started again. But the main problem is getting taken down another time just isn't great. And right now in their composition, we kind of see a very, very interesting setup. I know Sensei's probably going to switch over. No doubt in my mind he's going to switch over. He's not going to play Hanzo, but I would like to see Hanzo on this first point in the map. I think it's very strong. I think that the fact is you can actually set up I think you can set up in a way where you actually can take a lot of pot shots onto site with scattershot and hopefully pick someone off in hotel as well. So a lot of great usage. But Nixie and YariZ, that's kind of where the engaged comp really functions. You know, Tracer and, you know, Winston jumping into your backlines and forcing you to react. Honestly, essentially, he can get himself into hotel like he did last time around. Use the fact that the engage is dividing the team and go back and pick off some targets. I think that's a really good place to start.
Yeah, I can definitely get on board with that. They have a time on their side, of course, because they are the only one with time remaining. So they do have a little bit to work with, and they can go for pick play. They're not on the clock to immediately win the game like the side instinct was on their 1 minute offense. But already, about 15 seconds has eaten up here, and they're just going to go ahead and waste no time. And that's kind of the theme, no matter what in Overwatch. Even if you do have time on your side, that doesn't mean that you should dilly-dally and wait around. As already Nisk is in the back here, as he's going to do quite a bit of damage, but the defense, not wanting to lose the event quite yet, not wanting to drop out in the first round, not wanting to give up, not wanting to fall. And Kyubi, where earlier, to be fair, it was darkzar doing a lot of the work on their offense. Kyubi here on this Reaper, that was critical kills and a critical defensive hold there.
Yeah, honestly, that was a critical flashbang from darkzar to flashbang the Tracer and really stop that two-man engagement. But they're going back in again. Hopefully, this will be slightly different. The Dark Eye takes out Sensei also.
Yeah, he was the great play by the Winston to try to bubble the Deadeye, but he does end up going down to it. Now it looks like Yaris is going to be able to take out the McCree, and Ilka is down along with darkzar, and they aren't running a Lucio here on the defense, so it will be a long time for reinforcements. This could be a play that they could try to make if they keep trying to go for picks and play a little bit aggressive and keep poking the bear to see if they can get any more, but it doesn't look like they are going to go ahead and do that as Yaris is backing up. I say that, and then right as I think that they're going to back out, they immediately reinitiate. Pulse Bomb's going to go out, no kills from that as Yaris isn't going to slatch it to anyone, and that Transcendence is going to heal everyone up, and an Earth Shatter going to be doing huge work, and Kobe is going to come and clean up the work that is Reinhardt set up for him with that Earth Shatter. Oh.
Honestly, I'm a little fine with this, and since he changes over to Pharah just to get some more damage in there and have the higher ground, effect. But honestly, I think right now the offense is in a very good situation. They only take this first point. They have 3 ultimates, and right now they have the opportunity to win this game.
On with the Graviton Surge, and that's probably just it right there. No, never mind. The Resurrection Ilka gonna get everyone up. I honestly thought this was all over, but the defense has another opportunity. Their members are falling apart, though. HP dropping low in the top left, as you can see. Porio is gonna end up going down to Yeri's, and now Kyuubi's down. Sensei is gonna try to deal with this McCree, and if Darkstar goes down, it is only a matter of time, but they are just gonna go ahead and call GG. Well played. There isn't too much of a chance for them to take this, and this will go ahead and be the end of our game, and we will have the side of Random 6 moving on to take on Reason Gaming, but whew, that was quite the match, I have to say. Is there anything you really want to highlight or talk about there specifically, Scribe?
I mean, if you can kind of look at the two different compositions, actually you have the three Trinity dive composition characters, which is Winston, Tracer, and Genji. And as you can kind of see here, that's why Genji isn't really running solo anymore. It's just mainly because you need something to support it. You need something to go in, and there's a delicate balance between having your Winston dive in and having Tracer support him and divert focus from each other. Whereas, wow, that's a 5-man res. That's actually huge. That could have been potentially really bad if they kept any of their ultimates, but it doesn't really look like. I can't tell from the spectator screen. But man, it's so important to dive in like that. And the fact is that, one side's Genji just couldn't get it done because when you had to build up Dragon Blade for that long, you don't have that great follow-up. You really depend on your team to be winning 9-9 to like 100% of the fights in order to become useful, in order to capitalize on the fact that everyone has low health bars. So I think in all, it's very interesting to see the dynamic between those two specific sides.
I completely agree with that, and honestly, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how they adapt to play against Reason Gaming. I honestly don't see any reason why Reason Gaming wouldn't be just pulling out what worked for them against FaZe, because 3-3 isn't exactly a hidden strat, isn't exactly a unknown strat. It is a honestly well-known strat, and the NIP strat is what a lot of people in the European scene call it. A lot of NA teams have been running it here and there. Pretty much every team has been running it, so it's not like they'd be hiding anything to play it. But can Random 6 adapt to it? Because at the end of the day, at these lower skill levels, when you're looking at the Tier 1 teams versus the Tier 2 versus the Tier 3, when you're not at the Tier 1 level, at the Tier 2, I honestly think 3-3 is even more terrifying, because once it starts going, right, it's so hard to stop. It's a snowball comp. It's a non-kill comp, so.
Yeah, honestly, if you look at all the, awkwardly, if you look at a lot of the big, why kind of the composition works, is that a lot of the tank ultimates function as a way they either group the enemy team together or give yourself an advantage, right? Earthshatter is very good at stunning enemies, basically gives you a period of time to deal a lot of damage. As Reinhardt, Zarya, very similar kind of thing, where the Graviton Surge is a great place to put everything together. And the worst part is, if you try to engage onto a 3-3 comp, you can almost expect that, the supports have one ultimate up because they're healing these big threats, and a lot of health to be healed, meaning a lot of ultimate percentage to be gained, meaning that if you stagger it properly and you have, let's say, only you're on a heal on that first specific point, or let's say you only have your Mercy heal or only have Lucio heal, all these kind of half health tanks, that's a lot of ultimate charge to be gained, and that's a lot of, possibility for counter initiations, as well as setting up for better ultimates looking forward.
Yeah, I think you put it well. At the end of the day, if you can't kill them, the ult supports are going to get their ults quickly, and I mean, at the end of the day, that's the power of the comp, is if you don't get your kills, they're always going to be healed up, and you see a lot of Roadhog with that too, so you even get that internal healing going on as well. Sometimes D.Va, sometimes Winston, kind of that flank tank spot, but yeah, I have to really agree with that analysis, and that's it's going to be something that we really need to see what Random 6 has in store. Hopefully they've been doing a little bit of homework. Hopefully they have some ideas and strategies prepared, but nonetheless, we will find out in just a second, guys, as we will go to a short break so we can go ahead and get ourselves water and rest and compose ourselves to continue on throughout the day. As of course, this is just the beginning. We just got done with the round of 64. If you guys just tuned in, you have plenty of ESL action to go ahead and watch for the rest of the day. We are going to be moving into the round of 32 next, so definitely go out on social media, let your friends, let your fam, let everyone know about this event, let everyone know about this stream, and let people know that they can also play in ESL Go4 EU Overwatch Cups by typing in !bracket, going to the page and going to the Go4 overall page. There is one for Europe, there's one for North America. You guys can play, you guys can watch, you guys can enjoy bracket analysis, whatever you like in the sense of the competitive scene. They have it there, as well as ! Standings will give you guys access. I will be updating that to the September standings as soon as it is available, but the August event should be coming up here in a little while, and I will let you guys know when that's happening. But me and Scribe will be right back here as we're going to go to a short break, kick it to some music, and we'll be right back with Reason Gaming versus Random 6 here for the Go4 EU Overwatch Cup number 14.